Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorial brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Element Tutorial Group. And let's jump right into today's poster. Wanted to know not how to place a person in here, but how to do the shadows. And apparently the shadows were not coming out right in color. So if you first of all look at the photo, and look where the shadows are. They're coming down here. They're off of this wood here. And over here, they're off the plants and they're off this wood here. So obviously the sun is behind us. This is going to be probably an afternoon shot, maybe 3 o'clock or so in the afternoon where it's like almost directly and just above us. So that's what you want to think about when you introduce a photo. I'm not going to get too much into what we do to the photo. That will be a different tutorial. So let's go ahead and grab our photo. And here we got us a cowboy to put in there. This is just borrowed from the internet somewhere. And obviously, look at the color temperature on this. It's really different. It's really light and blues and greens. Yet our picture here is in the reds. So it's later on in the afternoon and it's color temperatured very differently. So let's change this photo with the magic of elements and time I pre-edited by cutting him all out and changing the skin tone. And here we go. Boom. Now we got us a cowboy that doesn't have a background. So it's, for all intents and purposes, just like a PNG. So let's go ahead and bring that into our photo. I'm going to drag it up to this tab and bring it back down, and I'll let go. And there we got us a cowboy. So let's put him over on this side. So I'm going to go over here to Image, Rotate, and come down to Rotate Horizontal. And that rotates him, our cowboy, horizontally so he can fit better where we want him. So let's put him right around. This looks good right around here. And I like that. And now what's missing is the shadows. But before that, I'm just going to do a little color correction to give them a little more sunlight. I'm going to go to Enhance, Color, and Hue Saturation. And now in the Hue Saturations, I can take the saturation and turn them down to black and white, or go all the way up till it's oversaturated. So I'm going to go somewhere in between till it looks more like it's fitting in there. And we can play with the lightness till we're satisfied. So this looks good. Now let's go ahead and make the back shadows from the sunlight behind us. So I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Alt, grab him, and I'm going to drag him and make a duplicate. First, I want to make sure that it's black and white. So I'm going to go up here to Image, Enhance, Color, and then Remove Color. So now he's black and white. Then I'm going to right-click on him, go to Edit Layer Style, and I'm going to go to Stroke. And that opens up a stroke. And if I make it bigger, you can see it's an actual stroke around the image. But we don't want it on the outside. We want it on the inside. And make sure that it is pure black. I can click there and change the color. You can see it's changing there. I want to go pure black, which is at the bottom left. And then I want to change this from outside to inside. Watch what happens. Boom. Now it's on the inside. If we make it really big, guess what happens? We lose all detail in the object, making it just a big black image. And that's exactly what we want. So I'm going to take his original image here, and I'm going to come up here and lock it so it doesn't get chosen by mistake. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the background. I can unlock it and then lock it. So these two are locked, and now I'm playing with black shadow image. I'm going to go ahead and right-click up here and say Simplify Layer, so it makes it from an effect to an actual image. I'm going to bring it back down over on top of him, and then let's go ahead and bring it behind him by bringing this layer down. Now it's behind him. But since it's a shadow, see what's happening to this piece of wood? The shadow goes from here down across the back. And this one over here too. So let's do the same thing by going to Image, Transform, and Distort. All we got to do is just drag that shadow exactly where we want it to be. I can bring it down like this. And this looks pretty good. Maybe it's a little bit big, so I'm going to shorten it just a tad. Make it a little bit thinner. And bring the whole thing over a little bit. And as it goes away from us, it's got to be a little narrower. So it starts fatter and it goes narrower as it goes away. And now we got us a shadow, but it wouldn't be such a harsh shadow because you look at this one here. If I zoom in, it kind of has a soft edge and it's very light. So we're going to do the same thing to this one. First by going to Filter, go to Blur, and go to Gaussian Blur. And look what happened. It just made it really blurry. We can make it super blurry or no blurry at all. We just want to add a little bit to match the other shadows. They're right at about 5 points, just so it's a little bit soft. I'm going to hit OK. And finally, let's go over here to the opacity of that layer and bring the opacity all the way down. Watch what happens. And it goes down to almost nothing. Bring it to where it looks natural and where it matches the shadow of this side. So I'm going to bring that down to about 23. Let's say 25 just to enhance it a little bit more. And that's pretty much all there's to it. All I would want to do is put a little bit of shadow under here. I'm going to come up to this shadow and make an extra layer by clicking this button, and it makes a layer between him and the background. And this empty layer, I'm going to go ahead and grab a brush. I'm going to make the brush what color? Guess what? Pure black. Hit OK. And let's change the brush from this one all the way up here to, like, say, a 75, right around there. And I just draw a little bit of black like that. Boom. Take the smudge brush, make it a small, I don't know, like a 20 point or so. And I can smudge in this area here. And then do the same thing I did before with the other shadow layer by taking its opacity and bring it all the way down. Look down there, and I can start bringing it up just a tad. That's 53. Let's say 50 points. I'm going to come back out, zoom back out, and watch the image. I'm going to toggle that shadow on and off, on and off. And that looks realistic. And this shadow, once again, I'm going to choose it, and I can toggle it on and off and check out the shadow on and off. And that's all there is to it to add realistic looking shadows. This is Rich for this tutorial, calling it quits, saying over and out.